Boom. Good morning, y'all. It is sexy Saturday. A lot going on. Last night I slept for the first time in my Florida-sized king bed. It's hard to say Florida-sized king bed because typically you would say a California king bed, which is supposed to be a really big bed, but my bed is way bigger than a California-sized bed. I think tonight is the 19th or 20th day that I've spent in the van. I did have a sleepover at a Rock and Rad Star's house in Sarasota, and then that Rock and Rad Star came and we had a play date in my van, so I missed one day out of the last 19 or 20 days. I'm gonna measure my bed here, make sure. So I have a blankie now. I never had a blankie when I was a child. I never had a pacifier when I was a child. And so these blankets that the homeless shelter gave me, I'm actually using as inspiration for the color of my van. I really like the sleek, modern look of grays and black, but I didn't have any like color per se to like make it pop. And so this is my blankie, and it's really super smooth. And I was gifted this by the HEP homeless shelter when I first got here November 1st, and I moved into the Horseshoe. But it's like a, it's not a baby blue. It's almost like a bluish pewter. So it has like a little bit of dark gray tones in it, and I wish you could feel it. It's like really nice, and it's a really large blanket. So I was gifted this blanket, and then oh cool, I can set that there. I didn't even think about that. And then I was gifted this blanket, and they're like the same, like, you know what I mean? I don't even know how to say it. It's like you could just, so it's like a crushed, not velvet. It's like a crushed, it's a crushed type feeling. So I got two blankies, and this one's a lot smaller. Typically I put this down on the bed because it's smaller, and I'm 6'1", but I don't move all that much. I kind of a straight sleeper on my back, and I put my hand by my heart like that. And then I use the top one, but it's getting pretty hot. So on this Florida king bed, I'm putting the big one down on the bed, and I'm using this one on top. So I've got a tape measure here, and I want to measure this. I've been saying it's 48 inches wide and like 100 inches long. Let's see. Here's my breakfast. We're going to have breakfast together. Let's see. I'll show it to you first. So let's just take it off here. So, yeah. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Joanna. Hello, Jessica. Jessica Jillick, y'all. Jessica, we're best friends. We're still best friends. And I know the reason why we're still best friends is because when you have a best friend and you don't talk to that friend for a year or 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, I think it's been it's been about 6 years. But when we talk, we have a lot to catch up on, and we're still BBFs. You know, y'all, I've been transitioning through a lot over the last 4 years and changing who I am, finding out who I am. And sometimes for you to grow, sometimes you have to create healthy boundaries, and sometimes you have to do that to best friends, and it has nothing to do with them. It has to do with you. And so I have had to create a distance from a lot of different human beings just so I know that I can grow. So I know if through my growth experience, sometimes when you grow, you have to fail a lot. Sometimes for me, I have to self-sabotage myself so I can learn some lessons. And sometimes for me, I have to keep a distance from friends so my failures don't affect those friends in a negative way. So I sent Jessica a friend request about 3 weeks ago. And so I'm so thankful that you're here. She has a beautiful daughter. I think her name is Ellie, I believe. And I think she is maybe 11. I think she's 11. And Jessica, you're an amazing mother. I'm telling you, I'm so excited right now that she's here because we would have so many amazing conversations. We'd have so many laughs. And, you know, she helped me out a lot just being there through my troubled times for my hardcore gambling, Jessica has seen me, like, throw up a billion times, has seen me through, you know, I would have women, because she was my downstairs neighbor, I'd have women upstairs just, you know, acting a fool. She's seen me just drunk and just all sorts of stuff. And so, Jessica, I love you. I sent you a Mother's Day text. And once I get on the road and start playing, you know, I'm going to go see my dad. So I will, if you want to still see me, I would love to come see you and play with you. I love you very much, Jessica. Thank you so much for being here. So let's see. Here's the bed. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Laura. Hi, Melissa. So check it out. Here is the back. Wait, here is the back. Here's the back of the van. I still got to do a bunch of insulation, and then I'm going to do a nice sheen wood. And then I'm going to put, I'll tell you one thing. In van life, shoe organization techniques, shoe fabric storage containers, shoe little pull-out stuff. Shoe organization stuff in van life is next level, because shoes are kind of big, and then you can get real creative on how to store things on walls, on doors, and floors with that whole shoe thing. So I'm getting really creative here. So that is where my bed is. Look, that's my bed right here. Boom. So I got 2 beds now, and I could stack them a billion different ways. I can use them as a lazy boy. I can use them as a bench. I can use them as a chair. I can use them as a couch, and I can use them as a bed. And I have 2 of them. So here's the beginning of it. And then I'll flip this around, and look how big this bed is. Remember, I'm 6'1". Here's my feet just sitting down on bed 1. Look at that. Do you see how long this bed is? It's the length of the van, y'all, and they're a billion fold. What's double fold, trifold, quadruple fold, whatever thing's after the quadruple. So you can fold these 5 times, y'all. And when not all this stuff is on my toy box, I could put one here. I could put one here. I could stack them both over there. I could stack them where I'm sitting. Hi, y'all. Look at my baby legs. They're getting a little bit bigger. Look at those little baby legs. They're getting a little bit bigger, y'all. I still have that tan, though, that farmer's tan. So let's measure this, okay? Let's measure, because this might be a record for the longest bed in a van, because there's a lot of different ways that people do things in the van life, especially sprinter life. I like to take my time sometimes when I'm creating, especially with something that I haven't done before, and I want to utilize each little nook and cranny, because I'm going to have a podcast in here. Any of you that want to come play with me, we can come play in here, and we can go explore outside, nature, springs, kayaking, paddleboarding. We can sail to the Bahamas. I have an offer that I can go to the Bahamas on a sailboat. And so this is a utility. This is a tool where when I'm done playing with Mother Earth and Mother Nature, then I can come in here and get like an optimal reset and then ninja flip back out. So I'm trying to utilize all of the space. And there's a lot of inspiration online. A lot of people kind of do the same type of things. I get it. But I'm doing a little bit different with this van. So here we go. I got this. This is a tape measure if y'all didn't know. I didn't know until like a while ago. So here we go. We got, I knew it. It's over 100. It's over 100. We've got exactly, I'm not going to exaggerate. I'm not going to throw a couple inches on there like a lot of people do. See, we've got 106 inches long. Let's do the math. Well, there's 12 inches a foot. What do we got? We're close to, 10. What is that, 9? That's like a 9-foot long bed. So somebody, first off, if you could, pretty please the cherry on top, share this video in my group, Ridiculously Authentic. There's a lot of people that are getting into van life, and so if they see this video, maybe they can help me or vice versa. So it takes 2 seconds. Ready? 1, 2. Thank you for sharing that with me. So 106, that's about 9 feet. Will somebody Google and find out what the definition of a California king is? Because this is not a California king. This is a Florida king. 106 inches long, and we got I thought it was 48. It's 41. Hi-ya! 41 inches girthy width and 106 inches long. That is the definition of a Florida king. So I slept beautifully on it. On these homeless shelter beds, they're real stiff, they're real loud. You have to deal with a lot of stuff. There's like fights every day, people banging on your doors. it's difficult. And so now what's really cool is when I, set these beds up, I have this entire van open with the nice beetle pine, with the nice commercial grade vinyl. So if I want to use it as a hauler, I could do that. When I come in here, people will be able to sit on my toy boxes. Really nice commercial grade lighting and video equipment and sound equipment. I have the Reflectix in here. I'm gonna put some wool behind here. So it's coming along, and I slept really, really good in it. I do have my my Max Air fan. I love it. It's a game changer. You have to have it. It's not as stealthy anymore because it's up a little bit. Like, I can close it. Like, watch, I could turn it off, and then you can close it. And I didn't get the one with the remote. It was like $60 more. I could have done that, but now when I close it, it's a little bit more streamlined, so it's laying nice and flush on the top of the van. But when you use it, you have to lift it up, and it has a white back to it, so it's not as stealthy. Anybody that's really not paying attention probably doesn't notice anything, but if you're a little bit into the van life, you can say there's probably a Ninja in there playing. And also, there's light now. There's light in the van. I'm using this right now just for so y'all can see my face, but there's a lot more light. Look, like, I have my doors open over there, but so I finished all of my sunshades with the blackout curtains and the Reflectix, custom made those. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure this. I think it's 14 by 14 by 14 by 14 inches. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. Reflectix, blackout curtain, and then instead of using magnets, I'm gonna use Velcro. Ooh, soft Velcro, because I like the stealth. I like being stealthy in it. I think you can play a little bit more creative when it's stealthy. If you have a Sprinter van, people kind of know you're in there. If you have an RV, people kind of know you're in there. Michael and I went to an RV park and saw like these $100,000 RVs and stuff. And even if somebody gifted that to me, I would gift it to somebody else. I don't think that's playing to me. I think that's like playing in a mansion on wheels. There's really not much. I don't know. I just like the grittiness and the stealthiness of the stealthy van life. So let's see what I got for breakfast, and then I want to rap to y'all about a few things. Some very, very sad news. Where's my breakfast? All right. So, what was it? Hi Laura. Hi Julie. Hi Melissa. Hi Kimberly. It was 4 days ago. I went and played with a Rock and Rad star in Sarasota. And she works at a really cool restaurant. I ate there, met her boss. Her boss is the one that is like a Clint Eastwood, MacGyver, and James Bond in one. And he has a sailboat, and because the Bahamas are like right down the water from where I live, if that makes sense. So we could take a sailboat and go to the Bahamas for a week or two. That would be really fun. So I met her, and we've been playing. And she drinks coffee, and I don't drink coffee. But she's been mentioning that she wants to get off coffee, maybe because if it's a crutch, or she gets a little bit of a crash, or maybe she has to be dependable on that caffeine rush. And so the day of we've been hanging out quite a bit, having nice play dates, and then I went down to her hood in Sarasota, played there, stayed the night there. We got up, went and had breakfast. She had to work, and then I rode my bike around Sarasota. I rode like 22 miles. And we've been playing in St. Pete Beach. We've been going to Turtle Beach, all these like real like top secret places. And I put them in my map, and I'm gonna do that all around the United States. So, if I wanna go sunsetting on a mountain, boom, put that on my map, label that. If you wanna see a sunrise at a beautiful white sandy beach that's private, boom, I got that. And so it was getting late the last day, and we decided to start drinking coffee. Oh my gosh, we each drank a pot of coffee, black, no sugar, no cream, and I'm telling you, that is such a drug. I was just like, and she was cool. We were rapping. And it was like therapeutical, but it took me therapeutical. I said therapeutical. It was therapeutical. I did it again. Therapeutical. I think that's right, but that sounds really iffy. Therapeutical. 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 It's therapeutical, but that sounds really funny if you think about it. But it took me 2 days to recover because all of my adrenals and stuff were just messed up. Like, I was tired, my eyes got saggy, I got bags under my eyes just from coffee. So I was offered coffee this morning, and like, I'm gonna go another 6 months to a year without coffee. Maybe unless I hang out with her again, because it is fun when you're with somebody that drinks coffee where you can just be yourself and really just talk whatever free flowing out of your brain and not get judged and have support. So I didn't drink the coffee today, and I'm not gonna drink coffee for a while. But I thought this was orange juice. They give us apple juice, boom. And for some reason it smells some sort of grits and pork. I didn't look, but here we go. So ever since the pandemic, they've been doing styrofoam little surprises, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Typically you would go into the galley in the kitchen and you would get a plate and stuff like that. So let's see what we got. Boom, I was right. Grits, and we got some grits. Boom, just some plain grits. I will not eat these grits. And then we've got 1 slice of bacon, what, and some eggs. And I will definitely eat that. If my van was done, I'd have probably a little shelf right here with all my seasonings. I'd have my Himalayan sea salt with a little sprinkle action. I'd put some crushed black pepper on the eggs. And then I would grab, my Texas Pete, and I'd put a little Texas Pete on there. So let's eat that. Hi Cindy, hi Linda, hi Mackenzie, hi Kayla. So I want to slow down a little bit while I eat. I've got my jar here. I have the Bragg's vinegar in here. I'm using this. I filled this up last night. I've been using this every morning and night. You take a little sip of it and go for a minute, and then gargle it for 30 seconds, and then you brush your teeth, and then follow it by water, and you will not have stank breath. And I'm notorious for having stank breath, and I don't have stank breath anymore. So, I'm gonna eat my breakfast, but I wanna share something with you all. One of my roommates, I don't ever use names. He's probably about 60. He's a really big guy. I believe he has a part-time job as a mechanic or something, and I've been pulling back, creating healthy boundaries from most individuals at the homeless shelter. Not my case manager, not Bree at the garden, not employees that work here. When I first got here and I was in the Horseshoe, I was very open, and being there for most of the guys. And at one point there's like 140 people here, but I slowly had to create distance, because when you're holding space for that amount of people and they're homeless, and there's like certain different degrees of homeless. It's like, you might have a career of being homeless, and you might not want to, dig deep and maybe try to better yourself if you're dealing with, mental illness, substance abuse, violence, thievery, robbery, you name it, it's here. And so at very first, and I was filming a lot, I was doing my late night quickies and my food reviews, and it's so interesting because I have so much in common with the homeless community. Addiction, just so much, just you name it, I've been there. But I've been 4 years sober and 4 years celibate, so I've done what I believe the work that needs to be done. So it's like I did it, and I probably did this on purpose, y'all. It's like I set myself up for failure. Like I self-sabotage myself. But typically, maybe you're homeless first, and then you go down the path of healing, right? Well, I did all of that first, and then I sacrificed everything. I want my personal sovereignty. I don't want to be with somebody because I have to do this, this, and this. I don't want to get a job because I have to do this, this, and this. I want my personal sovereignty. I want to do what it is that I want to do, and what it is that I want to do is to become the best human being possible, the best father, and to serve others with any materialistic things called paper money or whatever it is, or knowledge or love. And so I ended up here, and I was, at my 3-year mark, a 3-year mark of complete sobriety and complete celibacy. And so I have a lot in common with pretty much everyone here, but at the current state, it's very difficult. Because there's a lot of triggers when you're, trying to speak, to these people on the daily, and, and it's just, it's hard. It's like I could have like a 10-hour video on this. So I didn't on purpose kind of push back and keep that distance, on personal information, because, when you're homeless, you're living out of fear, and when you're living out of fear, you sometimes you go down the wrong way and you start to hustle and you start to manipulate, and you kind of want to know about everybody, and maybe you could, what can I get from that individual? And I've been there. I've lived on the streets, I've hustled, I know all of those. I don't even like to call them tricks or tools, because I don't want any of those tricks or tools anymore. And believe it or not, you have to do it in business all the time. And so I was finding that a lot of people were wanting to find stuff out about me, and they were asking me specific questions. And then they were kind of using it against me, maybe with like drama. And I don't partake in any of the gossip or drama. And there's actually probably a lot of that going on about me, just because now I've pulled back and a lot of people don't know what it is that I'm doing. If I wasn't specifically in the homeless shelter, and my van was good to go, I would give myself, give my heart, give my mind, my imagination, and my love a lot more openly to the homeless here. When I'm out playing in the city, it's so much better, because I'm on my bike. I stop. If I have a pair of shoes, I give them the pair of shoes. If I have a bus pass, I give them a bus pass. Now that I have a lifetime pension, I give them, $5-10. So that's different. There's always a space in my heart for the homeless. But when you live there, and I've been here for 6 months, and I volunteer at the garden, and it's a different dynamic. You have to kind of protect yourself a little bit more. So you kind of have to create those healthy boundaries. So I've been having to do that a little bit. And what I wanted to talk about is there's a gentleman that lives in the same building as me, and I've maybe had 5 to 10 conversations with him, and he's kind of quiet. He's a big guy, muscle guy, and I think he's like part-time mechanic. Well, his son and his girlfriend have been coming here on the property. I think I probably saw them the first time like maybe six weeks ago, and unfortunately they were both way strung out. When they're just like, and they're like falling, they're nodding, it's heroin, and I think a lot of it's crack, and I mean like big time. Like if you ever seen anybody that's nodding out on heroin or something, times that by 100, like it's totally visible. And I'd always walk by them, because they, sometimes the kitchen gives us soda or sugary snacks like granola bars or something like that, and I don't eat that stuff, so I keep it and then I hand it out to people. And on a couple occasions, they were sitting on the curb, and I would give them, like a soda or a bag of chips or something like that. And, more or less the guy, his son, was more strung out than her, but I saw both of them pretty strung out most of the time. But he was a little bit more strung out than normal, and he would drive this little Vespa. And they would wait in the parking lot because they're not on the property, and they would, I'd see them, smoking and using and all that stuff. But I felt for them, and so I'd always gift them something, and I would try to make a little conversation with them. Well, last night I was walking to my van and I saw him, and he was not nodding. You could tell he wasn't using, and he was pretty well put together. And I said hi. He said, "Hey man," he stood up and he said, "Man, I'm kind of a bummer right now." I'm like, "Well, what's going on?" He's like, "I lost my girlfriend." I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, she died on Mother's Day." And I was like, "Oh my gosh," because like I would talk to her, and you could tell that she really liked him, but they were just under the influence. They were both toxic, meaning under the influence of narcotics, but they were both beautiful people, but they were both in that same toxic environment where they were both using, and so I guess they fell asleep because they live on the streets, and I guess they were using, and the short information that he told me is that they were using and they fell asleep, and he woke up and she was dead, and it was because of heroin. So he had to call 911 and the cops, and they had to get her. And so I was going down this route in my brain, and I was like, man, because it's like if I would have stayed maybe a half a ninja second longer or less the last time I rapped with them, or maybe didn't give them a bag of chips, or maybe stayed an hour longer to speak with them, it's like, would that have changed their trajectory of maybe they would have hit a stop sign, maybe they would have hit a green light, maybe somebody would have called them over the last 3 weeks from the last time maybe I talked to them, and then maybe she wouldn't have taken that hit. And I sat and I meditated, and I'm like, it really does show you how valuable every experience, every action, every thought, every generous donation, every time you lose your patience, every time you lose your temper, every interaction. If this video lasts 2 seconds longer, that means I'm gonna come outside, maybe the weed eater guy's not there, maybe I'm not gonna get triggered, maybe I don't do a video, maybe I don't write on my hand. And so it's like, are we in the Matrix? I don't know, but every experience is valuable. And that's why, and then I bring it back, I'm like, I am doing a good job, 4 years celibate, 4 years sober, all of the work that I've put in, has helped me, find all of you and have these beautiful experiences and have all these butterflies come into my life because, you mend your garden, you heal your heart, you heal your mind, and sometimes you have to create distance from individuals. But if your heart is pure, your mind is pure, your thoughts are pure, and you want to become a better person, each second counts, especially maybe if you're doing, well, I don't really want to go there, but I just every situation is valuable. Every thought that comes in and out of your head is important. Every thought that comes in and out of your mouth is important. And so try to remind yourself about that, is that the more you're present, the more you can heal your heart. And if your heart is pure and if you want to do good for humanity, the more awareness that you have, the more energy you have, the more things that you've done to help your meat vehicle, to help your mind, the more you can make a difference. And I had to just, sit with myself and said, well, it's not my fault that she passed away of heroin and then now he's girlfriendless and, but maybe now this, maybe now this changes and maybe he, maybe that's an awakener. It's like, wow, I got to get my stuff together. Maybe I should stop doing heroin, but, I don't know if she had any children or a family, but it just makes you think. So I guess the overall picture of that is be cognitive, and try to be aware as much as possible of what it is that you're doing, what it is that you want to do, what it is that you believe in, and what it is that you are actually doing every second, because our actions and reactions do have effect on the world and humanity, good or bad. And so, I know I've hurt a lot of people's feelings. I know I've gaslighted a lot of people. I know I've used, hold on one second. Hello.
Going up to Hercules today?
Uh-uh.
No?
Uh-uh.
Anything you need?
No, I'm good, man. That's a really cool hat.
You want a hat?
No, I'm good.
Oh.
You have it. You're looking pretty snazzy today.
I got a lot of hats.
Well, I love you. Have a good day. Okay, bye-bye. I love that guy. He looks just like Willie Nelson. He's a vegan, and he's 91 years old, and he's in a homeless shelter, y'all. But, okay, so for example, let's just use that example right there, okay? I've had 2 knock-ins on my vans, drunk individuals wanting to fight me and vandalizing my van, okay? And I've been working on how are you gonna react. I'm in the middle of a video. I think I did pretty good right there. He came, wanted to say hi, wanted to see if I needed anything, and I spend a little bit of time with him every single day when we're in the line going to the galley. And one thing specific is, I don't care who you are, I always tell you that I love you. And so maybe me, during that pause, telling him that I love him, maybe lifted his chin up a little bit, maybe made him pause a little bit. So that interaction, right, that playtime that I had, even though it was 15, 20 seconds, right, starts our day, good or bad, motivational, inspirational. Maybe he'll think about me when he's at a park, maybe whatever it is. So every interaction counts. It really, really does. And you're not always going to be in your best mentality. You're not always going to be in the best space to gift 100% of your beauty and your generosity and your kindness in a listening ear. But if you can just do your best, no matter if it's a stranger, and try to get rid of prejudgments and just be, the world would be a better place. And so that's just something I wanted to share with you. You know, I really hope that, you know, if that woman, I don't know her name, but if she had any children or family, you know, hopefully they're doing okay. And because, you know, I think a lot about my sister. You know, my sister, you know, means a lot to me, and she's lived such a hard life. And I've tried things, you know, my dad's tried things. My mom has lived a very hard life. And I've tried things, and it just, you never know what somebody's going through. You never know what somebody just went through right before you communicate with them or after you communicate with them. So it's best to kind of sharpen your skills and be open and not judgmental and not try to project as much as possible. And I'm gonna learn so much. I'm gonna put these skills, these little tools, these toys in my pockets when I go travel the world and meet all of you. Because the more you put yourself out there and test yourself, rather if it's you're working on anxiety, depression, alcoholism, gambling, sex addiction, you can work on it, right? But you can still hide and, you know, behind $1 million housings and 401ks and paper money. But unless you put it to experience and then maybe gift that experience, if anybody is wanting to know that, you know, it might be a little bit selfish, or maybe you're just not ready. But anything that I learn, I'm gifting immediately for free. I charge nothing for anything. I don't want any paper money. I'm good like that. Anything that I have, knowledge, love, experience, heartache, inspiration, motivation, if you want it, come get it, and I will gift it to you. So I think that's it, y'all. Today, what am I going to do? I'm going to try to go manifest a toolbox so I can put it on the back of my van. I'm also looking for a cargo carrier so I can put that on top of my van. I'm also looking for some solar panels so I can put that on the top of my van. And I'm also looking for a solar station. I want a sweepstakes, but it's not good enough. So I'm just, you know, I think I purchased this van with my VA pension January, February, March, April, May, April 6th. So I'm what, January, February, March? No, March 6th. January, March, April, May. So I'm over 2 months on this build, y'all. And so, you know, I really want to get a house, which I'm looking for, which is going to be paid for, which is going to be Fort, my home base, for storage. And then I'm going to hit the road and come see every single one of you if you want to play. I have a list. Hopefully y'all share this video in my group. I have a rad toy list. If there's something that you see on there that maybe you can afford, please do so, because I'm doing my best to get this together so I can come play with all of you. I'm going to go do 2 Speak to the Hands today, and I got 3 of my 3 ideas, funny ideas of the type of videos that I play with, and they're a lot easier. I don't really edit them, and I just have an idea, and then I engage with you, I look at you, and I typically ask a question, and they're only like 15 to 20 seconds long. So thank you so much. I'm going to eat these eggs, this piece of bacon, and my apple juice. And it's time to play. As always, keep it raw, stay rad. Whoa!